So, about a year ago, the European Union, also known as the EU, decided to implement a law called Article 13, in which social media companies such as YouTube or Instagram had to fully put in a new directive or so called copyright tracking machine that would pretty much entitle the companies to be responsible for tracking and containing copyrighted content on users' portfolios or uploaded videos. Now, the reason why this is important for anything that is related to anybody who uses any type of social media is for the main reason that from now on you can be held accountable for making a maybe a short video, a meme, a review discussing something, or just pretty much playing any piece of media for like a video game or maybe live streaming a sport game. This is a big issue, and the reason why this is bad is you may be wondering, so if the European Union is doing this, why should somebody, therefore say I, who lives in the United States, be worried about this? And the main reason why is because companies like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of those, they mostly work as well in the US. But these companies, no matter where they're from, have to follow these regulations, and they don't want to waste their energy and time creating a separate account for that union, and everyone has to follow now those same rules. And that kind of implicates with an act that was created in 1976 called the Fair Use Act, which basically meant that anybody did not need the permission of the content holder as long as a direct copy or download of someone else's content and that credit was given when it was due. Now, there's been a lot of conflictions. So, to start off, first, I want to bring about my main points, which, for starters, I want to show you which platforms are affected and how that affects the users inside using those platforms. The second thing is the reason behind this law being in place. And the third, of course, is what you can do about it. So, for starters, let's start with a very popular source of media called YouTube and how videos are being flagged. Now, what this means is that the user's opinions on maybe like a review, a talk about anything that has or content is caused mostly by something like that. Now, for example, I did find this dumb, but memes are also considered illegal under this, at least if not caught with permission from the user. Now, of course, most people don't use this, but if you are caught using like a meme or a short snippet, they could actually take legal action and give you what is called a strike. Now, if you're using YouTube, a strike would, if you get 3 strikes, your account will be deleted permanently and you'd have to create a new one or fight the claim. Now, the thing is, most of the times when you fight a claim, I've done this before, it doesn't really work. They mostly just go up based on like the content creators because by law, they are the users owners and they can define whether you used it wrongfully or not. Now, Frank Swain from the article New Scientist was talking about how this new agreement needs to use monitoring software, which in most cases wrongfully detects copyrighted media. You could have just 1 second or a character that you didn't create and it will flag it due to that company sponsoring the software. Now, this is very bad because, as I mentioned before, this can really take down your social media accounts. And some people have like thousands of fans, and even some people get money out of the accounts, and it's kind of their job, which is a new thing that's starting to sprout. Now, the second thing is Romero stated in another article called International Review of Law, Computers, and Technologies that he should point out that he feels that if you are living under the US and this is happening to you, this is a direct violation of the Fair Use Clause that was established in the Act in 1976 when a lot of music producing companies blamed discos for stealing their music. Now, music, of course, is a huge platform, and a lot of content creators who make music feel that their work isn't being really used for anything besides just being stolen or review. Now, as it called, of course, this is very bad because you could just maybe do a cover, you want to do just something fun, and then they steal it. But why would the EU make a law Mostly it's to protect the content users. And so, yeah, the reason why the cause that this problem exists is mostly for the music, as I've mentioned before. And Forbes magazine even stated that content creators, like music creators, weren't getting enough credit. In fact, some were just blatantly being stolen. For example, the using of stealing someone's music to make a lyric video, when a lot of artists make them themselves and their videos are getting a lot less views than the actual creators of the song. And that is a problem, because then the person who made the lyric video will get compensated for the music that somebody else created, which that is a problem. Of course, their solution, in my opinion, wasn't the right one, but we'll get to that. Now, the thing is, another issue that also sparked up was also the fact that YouTube and Instagram and all of those companies can also get sued or blamed for it. You see, since it is their software that's being targeted and used to spread this illegal content, pretty much, they're being blamed for it. So because they're being blamed for it, it's a big problem and issue for them legally, because they could get sued and lose money. So it's best for them to make sure that people aren't using it at all and just not risk getting fined for it. Now, what's a solution that someone like you, just any other person, can make? Of course, everyone mostly to this day has social media accounts. Um, doesn't matter if you use it that much or anything, but if you do have substantial amounts of followers, what you can do is you can basically just use your account to speak up. Basically, I'm trying to see, but it turns out that from a publication from the paper talking about an issue that happened with a group of fans. Their fans, as they're called, you might know them. It's the fans of BTS group. They're known as the ARMYs, where they had this issue where YouTube was actually taking down a lot of views from their music videos. Now, the reason why this was a problem is obviously because if you're getting thousands and millions of views, you want to get the credit for it. Now, of course, they claim that it was their software that protected against bots was doing this. Now, of course, they returned some of the views, but they only returned them because people spoke up. Now, this kind of proves that your voice really does matter. Now, to summarize some of the points, I want to make it clear that your voice can be heard. This is a proven thought. The BTS issue proves that you can be heard. Start a petition. Speak up about it. Post anything relating to the problem so that your followers, and maybe they can spread it to their followers, and everyone can be aware that this is a problem that could potentially affect you in the future if you love using social media. And so something that I've done is I made a parody a couple of years ago about a music song that somebody else made. I gave credit to it, but the system still read it wrong and said that I had copyright claimed it, even though I did give credit and I even got permission from the person who made the video. Now, something that I will say is when this law was passed, everyone went crazy for it, started posting about it, and that's how everyone came to know about it. And I'm sure that if everyone spoke up about it again and said their truthful opinions on the matter, it can be just as big or maybe even bigger and get the attention once again, and they can finally realize that social media is just a way for us to speak out about ourselves and not something that many companies can profit from.